He's back! Ayo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Waves, back at it again with another video. Today I'm going to show you how you can get some of the best pals in Palworld, just like Shadowbeak here, before the level of 25. Now, the first step to this process is you're going to need to come down to your technology and be a high enough level to finally unlock the breeding farm here at 19. The next step is you're going to need a variety of pals to operate this breeding farm, starting with these chickpea here because they can produce eggs when you put them in the ranch. If you don't know where I'm at the initial spawn near the Plateau of Beginnings. For reference, if you're also looking for different locations of the chickpea, you'll obviously most commonly find them here, but you can also find them in these locations as well. The next pal you're going to be looking for is going to be the Mazarina, and that's because when you put them in the ranch, they produce milk. So the only habitat area you're going to find them at is right here. And to give you a little reference with my map, it's right next to the bushy spawn. So honestly, if you just kept teleporting from these two spawns back to each other, you'll eventually just see them spawn here. See, they didn't work for me, but I'm just going to go here. If you don't see them at this one, you just go to the next one. See, just like that. Now, this next pal that you are required to need is going to be the hardest one out of all of them to capture because they do only spawn between the levels of 20 and up, and their habitat is a little bit far from spawn, so it's going to take a little bit to get here in the first place. So I do recommend at least having a crossbow or the 3-shot bow by now because they do only spawn with at least 2, honestly, usually spawning with their queen, the Elizabeth. The biggest problem with the bee guards is going to be this move, so you want to stay at a range distance because 1, it does a ton of damage to you, and 2, it kills them immediately, making the bee guard one of the hardest pals to catch for this process. Now, what I usually do is I come up here to the Masanda Forest checkpoint, and if you don't already have a flying pal, you should definitely get one by now, but it'll just make it easier. I usually just fly around this area. You know, you keep following these pathways and eventually you'll see another herd of them spawn. But as you can see here, usually you're going to see them between levels 20 and 22, and they always pack a punch with another friend, which is the reason that makes them so difficult to capture in the first place. So if you have a ranged weapon of any sort, I don't expect you guys to have ARs or guns yet because I wanted to keep this, you know, under level 25. But if you prioritize just killing one, what I would usually do is come up to an area where they can't get me and just start firing to get their attention. And once they get close down here, they're just going to do their normal attacks. But as you can see, you want to get to a location kind of where I'm at, where you can jump up and they can't get down here, so they get all confused. And you want to be careful not to throw a pal out because, okay, my Anubis doesn't want to be aggressive, but once they start aggressing your pal, the problem is that they're going to use their suicide move on him. So you will just want to make sure to get to an elevated location and just take them out slowly. You're obviously going to have a bow at this point probably, so that is perfectly fine. You know, you'll just take a little bit extra time, and then when you have a chance to get the one-on-one, that's when you lower them and then capture them. After you have those 3 pals and you put them where you put the ranch wherever you want in your base, they'll be here so that they can make materials. The bee guard will be making the honey, the Mazarina will be making the milk, and the chicken will be making the eggs. So after you have those 3 pals and you're farming a bunch of materials from them, you're also going to want to make sure you still have a wheat farm going. I usually have 2 going at one time, and you want to have your normal red berry farm. The reason you're going to need all of these ingredients is for one specific reason. You need to make cake. Pals cannot breed and make eggs without at least 1 cake. So you're going to be wanting to make as much of these as you possibly can. This is because if you want specific traits on your pals, you're going to need to make as many cakes as possible to get as many eggs as possible, which leads to more chances. After that, you just allocate your male and your female pal, throw them in here, and they can make an egg. I've compiled a list of the best pals and the easiest way to breed them early on. I have them all timestamped, so feel free to jump around wherever you desire for whatever pals you desire. I will also link the website down below that I use to find all these combinations so that if you're trying to make any combinations, you can make them by using this site with ease. For the first pal, and absolutely one of my favorite, well-designed, and just overall best DPS pals, we're going with Anubis. And this is because Anubis has a handiwork of 4, which is the max you can have in this game. So he is going to be your best asset all throughout the entire game whenever you're trying to build anything. Not to mention, as you can see, all of these combos are super simple, such as Bushy and Pen King, and even Tombat and Sweepa at the bottom. These are all going to be the most simple combos that you can use to breed Anubis. Next up, one of the best mining pals in Palworld is going to be Digtoise. Now you can find Digtoise naturally, but honestly, look at this breeding sheet. It is so easy to make a Digtoise. That's why I had to list so many combos, because all of these guys are under level 25. And I mean, you're already going to have a Mazarina, you already have a Chicopee. You know, there's so many combos that you should already have some of these pals. Celery is super easy to catch. I mean, Chillet's the first alpha pal. So overall, there's just so many easy combos here that you can't not get him. Next up, we have one of the best flying mounts you can get in Palworld, obviously, besides the level 50 freaking legend. But as you can see, super easy. You could just get the crappy Nightwing and the Quiver, or Sweepa and Quiver. There's super easy combinations here as well. I threw Jormuntide and Wumpo in there just because I have both of those combinations in this video as well. So if you want those, you know, you can just make them and then make Ragnahawk. Since I already mentioned Wumpo, we might as well move on to him and Wumpo Butan, because they're pretty much the same, just one's ice and one's grass. The biggest thing about Wumpo is his transporting skill. He has a level 4 transporting, so he is going to be the best transporter you can have on your base, which is super useful. He's not one of the fastest. Honestly, Anubis is a lot faster, but Anubis does not have level 4 transporting, so that's the biggest difference. And Wumpo can be used in many different combinations, so he's just a great asset to have. Alright, now's the portion of the video where we start getting into the big dogs such as Jormuntide. Honestly, I caught this guy at level 45 originally because I did not know breeding was this easy. Grisbolt and Sweepa, you can get Grisbolt off the side on just that little island right at spawn. It's that big island to the side. I mean, even Relaxaurus and Quivern, Grisbolt and Nightwing and Helsifer. Like, these are just such easy combos. I obviously have Shadowbeak in here because he is going to be on later in the video, so stay tuned for that. But I did not know Jormuntide was going to be this easy to get. I wouldn't have caught him at level freaking 45. Next up, Orserk. Not only does he have one of the best designs, but he also is a level 4 for generating electricity, which is super useful when you get up to the higher tier bases. But overall, he's just a super strong pal with one of the best designs. Honestly, one of my favorite looking for sure. And the only thing sad about it is that he only has one combination. Besides for this, you can use 2 Orserks, but that's pretty much it. Just Grisbolt and Relaxaurus. Thank goodness that they're both easy early route catches, or else, you know, it would be a lot more pain. Now we're going to start making it a little bit more interesting, since Kitsun is one of the requirements you need to breed one of the best pals, Shadowbeak. Now, Kitsun is not very difficult. As you can see, you should have a lot of these early route pals already, but the next pal is going to make it interesting. Now, don't get me wrong, Astegon is more difficult, but he does have a level 4 mining skill, which is super useful. And I mean, he does help you craft one of the greatest pals, Shadowbeak. I listed Grisbolt and Orserk at the top just because I think that is going to be the easiest combination, considering if you already have Grisbolt, all you need is Relaxaurus and you can make Orserk. So that makes that process so much easier for you. Just in case, I know Helsifer is a super cool pal, so I catch him a lot whenever I played. And I also mentioned Cryolinks in there because you can buy him from that level 40 vendor. So he also can be in the mix of easy, but these are pretty much the only other ways to get Astegon. Now with Astegon out of the way, you can finally make a Shadowbeak as long as you have a male and a female of Kitsun and Astegon. You cannot do 2 males and you cannot do 2 females. So make sure you guys do not forget to overbreed if you don't get the right combination. Alright guys, but that is going to wrap it up for the end of the video. If you guys had any more Palworld content that you wanted to see or wanted me to make, make sure to leave it down in the comment section below. Shout out Super Gav for suggesting this video. He was in my comment section on the last video, so shout out him. I was going to do this video eventually, but I decided to bump it up because, you know, I had a homie plug me up, so I didn't want to disappoint. Hope the video was good, Gav. Anyways, I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day, and until next time, I'm out. Peace.
Let's go. Yeah. I'm in the whip with authority, looking like Sky Breeze, she got a body, ayy. And she been calling me daddy lately, want me to put her in Cartier's, and the deserve it. Put in work for the money, she earn it.